Codex, that stuff doesn't work on the intro screen. So welcome in, I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Oh, Tentacle Med already. Alright. Log into everything so I can put up my go in the live announcements. Better but not well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Glad to hear you're feeling better, though. I know you're not well yet, but a step in the right direction is still a step in the right direction. There we go. Hey there. That all up. Get the game started up. I need to do a playthrough of that game again. Specifically, the Sexy Brutale. It's such a well-designed game. What am I looking here? What remains? It'd be way down at the W's. I need to do the Katamari Night, too. Ah, man, there's too many games. There's so many freaking games. And I need to start reading books again. There's so much to do. I got one that would be perfect for stream too. The Barnes and Noble near me was closing down, so I got a bunch of things off of their closing sale, and I picked up from John Scalzi the Kaiju Preservation Society. I feel like that would be a particularly good read for the stream. And here we are. And I'm still here in the flesh. This may be a permanent thing, because I may never remember to turn my camera off. Anyway. To get a hold of the automatic detection. You know what? I didn't. I completely forgot. I need to go back and look. They're still in the process of loading that, so I will try to get up there. I'm not going to be able to do it tomorrow, but maybe on Sunday. Let me see. Hang on a second. What am I looking for?
I was going to turn off the music.
Because there's still like 2 minutes to this. Whoop. Hey, Bubbles. Thank you for the care package. Let me have a stretch. Oh, I don't have too many pops in my back today. And my neck's been really stiff, so I'm not gonna get any pops out of that. I haven't gotten any pops out of that in a couple of weeks. I'm sitting up tall as a tentacle, and it's not water, but I'm gonna have a sip of my drink. Care package received. Thank you. How have you been, Bobby? Have you played the What Remains of Edith Finch before? I'm fond of this game. It is a very, very fun and bittersweet story. So, yeah, I can erase my data. We're gonna start over again. We're gonna Finnegan begin again. And we're in the game. We got a backpack. We got some flowers. Somebody left some Chinese. Oh. We could read that, or we could ignore it and watch as the land disappears behind us. Playing repo some folks. Ooh, that is fun. I need to do some repo at some point. Oop.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
You want a game called What Remains of My Sock
I cast
Drawer?
itchy bones.
Oh no! My bones! Hey Leo, welcome in.
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it. My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Date missing, 2003. The TTS failed. Let me check my connections with Bikubot. Bikubot's connected. That's what my TTS runs through. Actually, I probably should double check. Sammy's connected too. That's weird. I don't know why it wasn't working. Whoop.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
A flower.
One of the few objects in the game that does not have...
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
I like how the words just spilled on the ground when I opened it.
No trespassing.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
The Finches. You know, Twitch.
I know you want to make it easier for us.
But I find it a little unsettling that I can randomly ban someone by accidentally click on an icon with a name that I'm not in mod view. Yeah, that's not good. We don't want that to happen.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
There's multiple bits of story, depending on which path we take. Oh, that's a zoom. That's a zoom. Can I not sprint? Been a while since I played. The Finches. I can hear my computer just going crazy down there. Actually, real quick, I am going to see graphics. Full window, VSync is off. Maybe we should put things on high. Or actually, it's running. It's running well enough. My computer's just going to explode, that's all.
The truth is...
Check Discord. Let me see here.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, it's just a button by their name. That's, I guess that makes it easy, but yeah, like you said, that's maybe a little too easy. I hope they have like a confirm option for that.
Even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
I can hear the Zelda frogs. We gotta play do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
Wheelbarrow. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I hope we can unban him, too. Leo's been a good boy. We don't want to have him banned. Oh, he just deleted the message.
The house was exactly like I remembered it. The way I'd been dreaming about it.
I feel like this inspired Hello Neighbor.
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband.
Damn.
I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
More missing posters. A lot more missing posters. Dude, I'd love... I don't know about the tower. You know, I love a house with a tower.
No, As
I'd
a
love to have this house.
17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Well, let's try the key.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Gary's potting mix. Ivy. Oh, there's a key. Let me try the key. Okay. We had a key we could have tried, but we took the dog floor.
When I was 11.
Oh, she did it pretty handily.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Edith, Eddie, Dawn, and Lewis. In loving memory of Lewis Finch, beloved brother to Edith, son of Dawn, great-grandson to Eddie. A Viking's Belly, the holiday feast, Witch's Kitchen. Tasting Thailand, the Nordic cookbook, weird recipes. Flour, salt water, yeast. That one is essential. And then the Northwest Chef. Dude, I want these. The Pacific Pantry, I want these cookbooks.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Cosmic Cuisine. Yeah, that's right up my alley. Fanny Farmer Junior Cookbook. Tasting Thailand. Begin to see a lot of the same ones. There's another copy of Cosmic Cuisine. They really liked that one. That sounds.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Photos. Lovely scenery. Cell phone stereo.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Again,
Nothing in the house looked abnormal.
I would
There was
love
just too
to have
much
this
of it,
house.
like a smile with too many teeth.
Dude, give me too many teeth. I got too
Even
few.
the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Built the house on the swamp. And the words go up the chimney. And it fell over and sank into the swamp. I built the second one on the same spot. It burned down, fell over, and fell into the swamp. Built the third one on the same spot. That one fell over, burned down, sank into the swamp, and exploded. But this is the fourth house, and that's what you get, the strongest house.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara. along with the rest of the house.
It's got little dangly legs. And a Bigfoot. Hell yeah. Beetle collection. Look at that rhinoceros. Or no, that's a Hercules beetle. Look at that Hercules beetle. I see a wasp. A couple of wasps. Ooh, cello. Cello and a viola.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Yeah. He was alive and working in Milton's Milton shop.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
This room is very cocked up, if you know what I mean.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Space Kid. More bugs.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Gregory.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Not really the case. Unless...
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Ah, my brother. He was so lazy they called him dead. My friend Bigfoot.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
She was in the picture shows.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house. Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
There's another floor, but there's a few more rooms to peek into up here. Oh, this one's open.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Put a little bit of a damper on it, yeah. I need to recenter that a little bit. There we go. Today we have surveillance cameras instead. Yep. Oh, I already looked through these. Fucking, I love the idea of the giant tree saw that has a painting on it. That's actually really cool. You can see down to the lake from here. Ooh. Let's see what's up here.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Tons of photos. Well, we've got an open room.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
20,000 leagues under the sea.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Oh.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
She does have really cool gloves. I think they're like full-on sleeves for her sweater.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Milton! He's a cat man.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
It was a room.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Love the masks. Walker's Island Cabs.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
What a pretty room.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Great view. Very personalized. Oh. Molly Finch.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Yuck. She ate a carrot, but it's been sitting there with what appear to be raisins, but you and I know what it really is. Hello, fishy. What else can we eat? Can we eat the fishy? I thought about.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Oh, don't eat anything in the bathroom, kid.
I ate a lot of things that night.
I don't think holly berries are good for you.
I kept eating and eating.
Not the toothpaste! Hello?
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest.
Are we gonna swallow a swallow?
I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Almost had.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Nope. They stood still as statues.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
Which direction? There she went.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. first, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Where? Oh, I hear it.
Rabbits.
Rabbits. There it is.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit.
Yep, which is not how owls eat. Well, they bite mice, but they do rip their food up. They don't have snake jaws where they just...
A mama rabbit.
A mama rabbit. Why is it always a mama rabbit? Whee! It was a mama bird, now mama rabbit. Alright, we're gonna try two at once.
Too big to carry. I started choking.
Gotta eat
but
for
I
5
couldn't
now.
Stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
In a tree. Whee! Oh! Ow. Oh. Hello? Okay. Whee!
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
That fish is farting like crazy. Let's put him out of his misery. Oh, it's a seal. Never mind. That seal is farting like crazy.
Fat, juicy seals.
Probably wasn't allowed to eat as much as she wanted. Kept getting told to chew her food. It's possible. Oh. Oh, wait. I lost him. Shit. I'm not a good shark. Shark Simulator, this is not. There's one.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Ooh, sunken ship. I love the musical cues. The music gets louder as you get closer to what they want you to find.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
What's cooking good looking? Uh-oh. Well, we just invented somebody's hentai
I got
nightmare.
closer and closer.
Looking a little familiar in here.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
And so, and now there's a
I can't
jellyfish.
describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Just her stomach growling in the night. Oh, maybe it was the cat.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
She's had a lot of birds and lizards. That's a bearded dragon in there. This is a beautiful way to memorialize your pets. An owl. Little candles and bird cages and books. A snake.
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Her room was like a museum.
Odin.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
I guess I need to click. Yep, there we
Odin
go.
Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
I'm sorry. I just love the idea of loading a house onto a barge. Something about it. Oh,
But
man.
40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Mm-hmm. Mysteries of Death and Thereafter by Odin Finch. Oryx and Crake. The Milky Way and Other Places. The Hardy Boys. Rocket Boy. Boxcar Billy. Mr. Martin. The Little Prince. Starship Gemini. The Old Breed. The Wreath. The Camera. Racket, I think, is that other one. The font's just kind of hard to read. The Dreams of the Witch House. In Water Black. That one's kind of cut off there. The Devil's Flame. I cannot read that font. Tales from Beyond.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
It's more of a fun story. Dragon kills Finch. Tragedy strikes Finch family. Sven.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
72-year-old woman refuses to evacuate because of a little forest fire.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Mole
Edie
Man.
did a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
My mom was furious. Furious. Built 1937. Sven Finch. Woo! That is a shag carpet right next to a bath.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
A little frog. Little wind-up frog that goes tick, 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 tick. Oh, this door was... Yeah, they sealed it up. I guess that's true of all of them. Don't stand on the toilet, Edith. Come on. You're gonna slip and fall into that luxurious carpet.
There's a secret in this bathroom.
It's a pop-up book.
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
I love how clever that is. Again, I would love to have this house. Secret passages! Secret
Sven
passages!
gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Calvin Finch. Milton. Milton's been here. Fort Calvin. Fort Sam. Whoop. Aww. Oh no. Calvin didn't make it past 1961.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him.
Oop, 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 oop. place. It's so freaking cool. Ah, wait. I wanted to see if there was another thing. Another clue. Explore the universe.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
He's trying to do the loop.
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
We're gonna get that loop.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up.
Here we go. We almost have the
Then
loop.
maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Did it. Yeah. Uh-oh.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major
Calvin's story
Tom?
felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Here am I floating in my tin can, far beneath the world.
Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
There's nothing I can do. Bam pa dam pa dam pa dam pa bam bam.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Where is this? We had a choice. Oh, this brought us back to the hallway. All right.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Got a guitar, Swan Lake. Barbara. Yeah, Barbara.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Yep, you get that one big break. And then you're forgotten. Like tears in the rain. Oh, she was very pretty too. Barb Street. That pie has expired. Should be something I can interact. Oh, here we go. Guest starring
Of all
Barbara
the stories
Finch.
people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Look at that pumpkin man. Surprise ending for Barbara
Jack
Finch.
here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family.
He's a regular Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Uh-oh.
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
Uh-oh.
That came from the basement.
You're right!
You're
Also,
right.
I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
New key.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Mm-hmm.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
That's music from Halloween.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Yeah. I was never gonna pull. Take that. Fuck you, laundry.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman Killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
There's the table saw. Fresh accident. Hook hand Carl.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
Buddy, you're not much of a director.
She kept the little
All I'm getting from you is you're hurt and confused and you feel
Barb,
betrayed by
you
your
see my other crutch?
boyfriend.
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Alright, Walter. I got a big stick and I'm ready to lay down some... Oh. Walter Finch.
Are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Uh-oh.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Haha. Whoopsies.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
There's always a twist. Let's not suffer the same fate he did. Where is he? Where is he? I saw him fall from the second story window! I shot him 6 times!
But all he heard was...
Bing bong.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen.
They were nerds!
Going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
It's a real earworm, that's for sure. It'll definitely catch your ear.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Do-do-do-do. Oh well. At least you know you could get her ear. When you really need someone to listen. They didn't give me enough space to make an orgy joke. Let's see here.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Time to go do it. she saw what kind of monsters they were. Zip, thump, zip, thump, zip, thump. She knew that she would die. Just like that, we have access to another part of the house. Little baby seat.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Got a little mini for the slide. A fucking canoe.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Secret passage in the fridge where the giraffe saw and the zebra.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Which wasn't that far, as it turns
If there's
out.
a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Yep. Dude, he made a little bunker house. Isn't that neat? I wouldn't mind having an underground room. I mean, you'd need to have a few things. You'd need to have carbon lighting, obviously. Hopefully flowing water, but you definitely want to have like a carbon monoxide alarm. Probably a few other things. Oh yes, and a fake picture of the outside and a little window. Probably a sprinkler so you can imitate having rain and weather. I like that he like trains. Look at this. Walter lived to the ripe old age, eating nothing but peaches. Peaches, 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 peachy, peaches. I eat nothing but you.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
I can.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive the week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
A routine of eating
Having a
canned
schedule,
peaches.
living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Almost. Not quite. Dude, his bowel movements must have been terrible.
And then
He's
one
eating
day,
nothing but
everything
peaches.
just stopped.
Wait a second. Where's the kaboom?
Whatever
There's
that thing
supposed to
was,
be an
it was
earth-shattering
gone.
kaboom.
Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Oh. Oops. More secret tunnels. Down, down to Goblin Town. Down, down to Goblin Town. It got Jiggly. Concord. Red Firm
I know
tomato
it's out there
ketchup.
somewhere.
Alvin cereal. Extra crispy.
Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin.
Oh, I guess this is his toilet room. Alright. It's hammer time.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
Alright.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week.
Yeah, 30 years of eating nothing but canned peaches.
I can already imagine the sun on my face.
But he was hit by a train that evidently ran under their house?
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Man, I should have gotten some canned peaches. Specifically for this. Oh, he had a toilet. Okay. So that was just his trash pile down there. Oh, whoops. I went the wrong way. Sweetie Crisps.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
What, hit by a train? Because you went under the
But if
house?
she never told me about an uncle under the house,
Well, the
I can
house
only
shan't.
imagine what else she was hiding.
Yeah.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Gross. Ooh.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Nope, there's no going the other way. There's no
Now that there's only
seeing
one
what's the
left.
other direction.
Or maybe 2. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Walter. Poor guy. When the heck did this happen?
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
chair in a tree.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Ooh.
But I thought you should know about your family.
That totem pole's seen better days.
And the history you're a part
It's all the family members. And the history of love. Look at that red light out there. What could it be? I forget, can we go into the water? There's something right there. Nope. Okay, we can't do that yet.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
It's a nice little place to have a chair, keep your boats, go right out onto the lake. That stairwell, yeah, that is gone. Up and 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 up.
And when you look at the house, it had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness.
Madness.
Any of it seems possible.
Madness. This is Finchland. I guess it's not that way. I know, I'll take the
I
bike.
think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
I mean, that's...
What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
a big one. One that,
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
I don't think that's unusual.
3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
As somebody who's had a lot of pets, I certainly understand that. Shotzi! Oliver, Bob, Shadow, the cat. I love that they have little icons for what they were. Oliver was a rabbit, Bob was a dog, and he's got the skull and crossbones, basically. Christopher was a fish. Derpy Jr. and Derpy. Lucy was a dog. Daisy. Charlie was a cat. Burpy, we don't know what he was. Tucker. Coco. Zoe. Not my Zoe. Chirpy, Furpy, Lurpy, and Zerpy.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly Finch. 1937-1947. Aw, it's a sleeping cat. Calvin Finch. 1950 to 1961. Sven Finch. 1915 to 1964. Edie Finch. 1917 to 2010. She outlived her husband by almost 50 years. H.U.B. Knit. Fdick. Walter Finch. 1952 to 2005. Man Who Came Through the Tunnel. Barbara Finch. The Star. 1944 to 1960.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
The past is always alive in people who choose to remember.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Yeah. Okay. Where do I go from here? I can't use it again.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Gregory Finch, 76 to 77. Sam Finch, 50 to 83. Gus Finch, 69 to 82. Milton Finch, born 1992. No date. No second date. Sanjay Kumar, 1966 to
She lost 2 of her
2002.
brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Lewis Finch, 88 to 2010.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Up we go.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, not a great choice to be going out on a limb like this when you're that close. Yeah, not climb up there. Is there a ladder? Oh, here we go. That's another thing I want.
I never met Grandpa Sam.
Multi-stage roof with a
I think
ladder
he and my
access
mom
from
had a lot
above.
in common. They were both pretty intense. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
You look around the room
Instead of
real quick.
hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
He went to war. But the war wasn't what got him. Really nice room. A nice skylight on that side. That's something I'd really love. Somewhere out in the country where I could sleep and see the stars. Self-portrait.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
What? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Hmm.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Nothing quite like being outside. Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? Last time I was with my brother. You don't need to waste any more film on me, kiddo. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. Let's see. Maybe. Was it?
I'm probably supposed to take... Oh, hello.
Dad!
Oh.
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
There.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up. Great shot, Dawn!
I guess I should be waiting a little bit longer for some of these. Oh. Yeah. That's the thing about maybe not understanding your kid well enough. Oh.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Oh, I should be... Oh, I didn't center it well. Oh well.
Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's...
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Uh-oh. Yep.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Thank you for the care package, Codex. Let me have a stretch. The bend. Oh, my neck. Oh, my neck. Oh, ah. Ah. I'm setting up tall as a tentacle. Thank you for the care package, Codex. That door's all sealed up. They're in the vents!
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
There's a cute play area. Oh, Gregory. Divorce contract. A lawsuit has been filed against you. You have 20 calendar days after this summons to serve to file a written response to the attached complaint petition with the clerk of the court located at 3527 Clerk's Court Street, Friday Harbor, Washington, 98250. A phone call will not protect you. Your written response, including the case number given above and the names of the parties, must be filed if you want the court to hear your side of the case. If you do not file your response on time, you may lose the case, and your wages, money, and property may be taken thereafter without further warning from the court. There are other legal requirements. You may want to call an attorney right away. If you do not know an attorney, you may call an attorney referral service or a legal aid office listed in the phone book. Blah, 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 blah.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
This one. The last one was very sad. This one's very sad in a different way.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
The duck. The duck. I love the use of music in this one.
Bartender's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
Oh. I'm moving that. Yeah! What his world was like. Oh, duckies! He's got psychic manipulation of the frog.
So much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw. It sure made him happy.
Bonk. There we go. Now he's right side up.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy.
Boing.
Things slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it.
Boing.
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
More water.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything.
We became one with the frog.
It wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
I love that face, the hello. That was sad. Dawn. Gus.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Look at Gus. He's got a mohawk. He's awesome. A poem for Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. Father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. Make him cry.
Okay. Where do I go from here? Oh.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Ah.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh boy. Oh, there it is. Woo! Oh, there's more down there. Picking up a
Rain
lot
came
of
down
stuff.
in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
I feel bad for the kid. Like, don't get me wrong, he was being a jerk on the wedding day, but the storm was coming and they knew he had a kite. They should have fucking gotten him inside. Seems that's a curse and just bad parenting. Maybe that is the curse. Maybe that's just what the curse is. Bad parenting. Raise flag, breakfast, quiet time. Do. Greg, be a baby. Gus, mop and mow the yard. Dawn, sweep and trash. A rock wall.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Ooh. India.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Fly to India. 10 ways to teach critical thinking. Where helping hands create safe places. Oh, there's a note here.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Whee! I don't think I was supposed to do that. There's more to see. I think I need to find myself a copy of that book. 10 Ways to Teach Critical Thinking. I should probably be thinking more critically myself.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
She got busy quick.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Oh, everybody had little gardens.
And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Yeah, I love the storied look of everybody has their own room, and we never reuse them. We just add new rooms every time somebody comes into the family.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Our family history, fact or fiction? Multiplication tables.
But it didn't last.
What a nice view. Odin Finch. I guess she was homeschooled, mostly in family history.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
A king and a mustache. Yeah, that spells trouble.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Man, I hope when I disappear I leave a room full of paintings and mysteries. And secret tunnels. Secret tunnels.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Love that frog. Good architectural studies. Note that everything is black and white with this guy. Also, yeah, like a pulley elevator? Yes? What a view. What a view from the observatory. This could be my angry dome. Anyway. The
Milton
magic
Finch
paintbrush.
in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh. It's a really long flip book. painted a door and then he took it. He just vanished.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
And there it is. That's the door he painted. Supposedly it worked for him. They even have footprints leading right up to it. And right up there. Actually, I didn't look to see if there were footprints up there. I guess they start up here. He spills and then he steps there. He came down. Well, the footprints lead up. That's the thing. They lead up except for the 2 that are pointed at the door.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
I love how every time you double back in this game, there's another pathway.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Oh yeah, stairs are wrecked. There we go. He's got a boathouse. It's actually a neat idea too.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
He was a stinky boy. He's got great taste in posters though. Look at that. Oh man. And he had some video games. Wonderland Turbo.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Note that there is no TV. Only the console. And the VCR. Oh wait, no, never mind. It's on the wall. It's a flat screen. I was not expecting that. I thought there'd be like a tube TV down here. Oh well. Exercise ball chair. Very nice. 2-screen setup. Seems familiar. Supply of meds and beer and cassettes and CDs. The Red King's Dream. Trust me. Dahlia. I can zoom in a little bit, it's still kind of hard to read all these. Oliver Twist. Lewis Finch.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Chopping the heads off fish.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Yes.
wander.
Oh.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
Whoops.
Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Dragon bones.
And things that
That's
have
pretty cool.
not names.
That which must not be named.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Nope.
But he found something more.
The labyrinth is now a Diablo stage.
Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Oh, doggy.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick.
He had a rich inner life.
Then he made musicians.
Now that the dream is getting bigger.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
He decided mayor wasn't
They
good
begged
enough.
him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
It really is. It really
Conquer a
is.
city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
But then it doesn't
St.
even make
Louis.
sound anymore. Oh, never mind.
He started
fool.
drifting
I
away
was
from our
distracted.
reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Yeah. Hey, Aqua, welcome in.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Oh. He gets a beautiful prince.
beautiful prince.
Whoop.
The prince was on
You know
his
what
own
happens.
quest for
You know, I abide by the no spoiler rule. That's fine. Whoop. Sinister serpents.
sinister serpents.
I've played through this game before, so I know what happens, but... Yeah. Uh-oh. I gotta be better at chopping these fish or I won't live up to the story.
He followed the sound of his
My electric sitar.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
And more, his imagination was all that he saw.
But
My
he was
beautiful
so
prince!
proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
He suffered from delusions of grandeur.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
At least he wasn't. Yeah, no, he could have been me. Luckily, he was not.
My
He only
imagination
suffered from
was as real as my
delusions
body, he told me.
of grandeur. Just ends in sticky
It's hard to
situations.
argue
Yep.
with him.
Hard to argue with him because there's no one else in his head except him. He's got a little a Sony Walkman boy there.
Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Yep. You need the chance of growth.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
And there he is. Just going through the motions.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Get that man a new job and some drugs. That's
The
really
palace
what it
would
came
be
down
packed
to.
with his companions.
Get him a new job, something's a little more engaging, and maybe give him just a hit of something. Just a little something. As a treat.
Including
As
the
a
wise
treato.
Calico who insisted on inviting him.
And he never imagined faces for any of them. Or some friends. That'd be a good one too. I don't think a therapist can prescribe friendship though.
Holding his crown.
Although a support group would have been good. That could have been a launching point.
There was only one thing left to do.
Shit, it's the French Revolution.
Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Emily Nuff.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
I hope that's how Trump's coronation goes. was debating whether I should make that joke. No, but seriously, fuck that guy. Reading's a hoot! Give a toot! Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba. Ba 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 ba. There we go. Now we've got the fireman's pole to get back down. Another thing I'd want if I had my own house is at least... Oh, that door just popped open. What the hell? Back in Sam's room. I think we do have to go out. It's like the biggest backtrack that you have to do in the game right here. I think. Unless I'm mistaken. And I could be. Oh, maybe I should have made a Lieutenant Albuquerque. You know too much of the human condition and just instinctually care. That's a good thing, though. Doo-doo-doo. I think I took a wrong turn. I thought I had to come back out here, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed a spot. Unless there's... Is there another passageway over here? Big old TV. The door's sealed up. It's the treasure. And you treasure it as a gift. It's just in a situation, it's a defensive mechanism. Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. On the bright side. On the bright side for these characters, it is just a video game. Can I climb the pole? Oh. 22 weeks pregnant. Still climbing poles. Alright, I gotta figure out where the next doorway is. Do-do-do-do. Alright, where the heck? Okay, that's a dead end. Went through the garden area. I love this rooftop deck slash garden. It's beautiful. We've been in Milton's room. We just got out of his room. Is there another way up? There is a room above it. I must have just missed a way up. That one's busted. Means you can read people pretty quick and get to know them well. That's also good. Being able to read people quick is actually a very good skill. I didn't notice the hookah before. Oh, the fucking exit sign's on. Gee, I wonder if that's where I need to go. Yeah. That's,
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing.
That's a skill that a friend of mine
She waited until
has.
the day before we left to tell Edie.
Yeah, that's where the original staircase was.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
And I think if he hadn't had that ability to read personalities well, that he and I might never have started hanging out.
I wish we'd stayed.
Back in peanuts.
But I understand why we left.
Ba, 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 ba.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
All those photos. Beautiful room. Like, all the rooms are very expressive, and they're all very cool in their own way. But something about this one feels very neat to me, with like the weird uneven windows, and then you've got the ones that are just
What happened
done
that night had been coming for a long
perfectly.
time. Maybe you should have come sooner.
The kite. Made out of print.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
A house. Modeled with newspaper. She was. Or grandfather. Yeah, he was. Sorry. He built the house. But then again, like, a lot of those expansions happened after Odin had passed. After Sam had passed. Or after, Sven had passed. And the last we have Edith's story herself. Look at this with the light casting all these letters. It's got a very surreal and almost spell-like quality to this room. It's really neat.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh boy. This house was her whole life. I understand her not wanting to leave.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
There we go. Oh. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
History of the Finches by Edie Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
The voice actors did a fantastic job in this too.
Way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. know. I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in,
Yep.
I lost my way.
It's a tidal wave. That. Oh.
I got turned around. I started seeing things.
Well, that one might actually have been there.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
That always felt weird to you?
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends.
It's a bed.
That
It's a
night,
chair.
a lot of things came back to me.
There was a lot of junk.
Or maybe I came back to them.
Yeah.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
Yeah. Oh.
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it,
Yeah, she didn't seem like the type.
but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Oh no.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
And it was all thanks to your local
Until I found out
radiation
about
poisoning.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Is it my headphone or is that my computer freaking out?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
(1999 to 2017). Edith Finch. Whenever you're feeling down, Mrs. Brown, and things hard or tough, people are stupid, obnoxious or daft, and you feel that you've had quite enough. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's revolving. Oh, man. I'm pretty sure these are actual baby photos of the developers, too. This is a beautiful game. Thank you all for joining me for it. This is my second time having played through it. I don't think I did the first one for stream. I might have my first year, but I don't think I did. I think I played this before I started streaming. But yeah, I've always been very impressed with the storytelling in this one. They did a wonderful job of creating a very bittersweet story that has a lot of personality to it. And it's a very short game. I remembered it being longer. I thought this was going to be a 2-session, especially since I'm starting it on a Friday. I think I first found out about this game from the Gymquisition, or maybe it was the Podquisition. But I seem to remember them talking about the scene with the baby in the tub. I was going like, oh. And they were appreciating the musical design and the level design and just the way the storytelling was done. I was like, that sounds really good. Oh, ant farm. I had an ant farm once. We ordered the ants for it, and you're supposed to put them in the refrigerator to knock them out. We didn't do it long enough. They were leafcutter ants, and they got out. It was the first walking simulator that made the genre recognized. Yeah, well, good for a reason, and good for a reason, and for good reason. It's very well done. Oh man. I get the feels from playing this game. It's very good. It's very well done. Oh, man. And it's only 11:30. Got a little bit of time. I'm not going to be on super late tonight. I got some plans for tomorrow, so I don't want to be up super late. But I could definitely do a little extra after the credits roll. Trying to think of what we could start up. Or maybe I'll read a little bedtime story. Or a little bit of the book that I'm working on currently. Edith Finch. The end. Airy lies! Oh man. What a game. What a well-made game. Oh man. Let me see. Alright. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna read a little bit of the one I'm currently working on. Because I actually haven't read very much of it in the past couple weeks. I'm a little over halfway through, so we're not starting at the beginning. And I highly recommend it. It's been good so far. It's Jason Pargin's. I'm starting to worry about this little. No, it's not little. I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom. Let me see here. Where did I leave off? Alright. Let me... Oh, and I need to change the category to... Do we have a reading one, or is it just chatting? We got reading fun, reading simulator, reading recipes, reading rainbow, reading blaster, reading roundup. I feel like there's barely any... I guess 2.9 thousand people isn't that barely any, but there's 12 viewers in reading fun. Let's do just chatting. There we go. Alright. Updated. I'm not gonna worry about the title. Alright, so here's a little bit from Jason Pargin's I'm starting to worry about this black box of doom. Abbott. All of these towns have a Dollar General store, said Abbott, as they pulled out a single pump gas station in the town of Friendship, Tennessee, population 668. Dollar General, convenience store, church, school, cemetery, payday loans. You know why, right? Said Ether, sucking from a tube of Go-Gurt. Grocery stores sell processed junk and fresh produce, but they make all of their money off the junk. It's higher margins, less waste. Well, the dollar stores were like, why not just sell the junk and forget the rest of that fresh food nonsense? They run the real grocery stores out of the poorest neighborhoods. She studied the map and said, if we turned that direction, we could go to the town of Frog Jump, Nutbush, or, and this is my favorite, Dancyville. That's kind of fun. I'm going to guess that it is not, in fact, fun, said Abbott, staring at a road that sliced through two fields that seemed to be growing waist-high weeds. All that stuff he said about the world getting better, that's great for all those other countries, for all the poor people in Bangladesh or whatever, but the USA is dying. I mean, that's objectively true. These towns we're passing, you could film a zombie movie in them without dressing the backgrounds. There was a time in this country when you could afford a big house and 2 cars on one job, with the other parent staying home to raise the kids. Now everybody has to work 2 jobs to afford one apartment and their student loan payments. But who told you that? The thing about everybody affording a big house with 1 job back in the good old days. I feel like we're getting that from old sitcoms or magazine ads. A quarter of those 1950s houses didn't have indoor plumbing, and almost none had air conditioning. That wasn't a common thing until decades later, and those houses were tiny and packed with 3 generations of family. I mean, none of this is opinion. You can look it up. The average American now has as much living space as an entire family did back then. And no, they didn't have 2 cars. They were sharing one, if that. You're right that they didn't have student loan payments, but that's because hardly anybody went to college. Hell, in the 1960s, most Americans didn't even finish high school. So forget about choosing your dream career back then. People were still just working in whatever factory kept their town afloat. And if you go back 100 years, you're in a totally unrecognizable society. In this part of the country, lots of the kids would have goiters from iodine deficiency. Illiteracy would have been rampant. Virtually every adult would have been missing multiple teeth. Oh, and it was considered weird if parents didn't beat their children. None of what I'm saying requires some deep dive into the research. None of it is disputed. Look it up. And then there's the big one. The one nobody ever thinks about. Time. Everybody longs for those home-cooked meals like in the Norman Rockwell paintings, but those meals only happened if mom spent hours cooking them. Most women literally spent most of their time in the kitchen. We make jokes about processed food and drive-thrus, but that stuff is the reason mothers are able to do literally anything other than chop potatoes and knead dough all day. And you can apply that to everything. It used to take much, much longer to shop, to correspond with friends, to travel, to bathe, to wash your clothes, to buy a book. That's the first thing you'd notice if you went back, how your spare time would evaporate because every single little task takes longer if you can do it at all. Also, a handful of those who didn't finish high school were drafted as well. That's right. There was a draft, and we still send a lot of our young men out to war, but it's supposedly voluntary now, although I do remember when I was in high school that there were recruiters, and my family didn't pressure me to join, but I know that for some people there was a fair amount of pressure from their family to do service for your country in a very specific way. Where was I? Okay. I think you're going the other way now, exaggerating how bad it was. No, I've just scratched the surface. Take sex, for example. For most of history, sex education of any kind was forbidden. It wasn't even openly discussed by anyone, ever. Gay kids, trans kids would have thought they were possessed by demons, and everyone grew up thinking masturbation was this bizarre, grotesque habit only they indulged in. You had actual medical texts that said that boys were at risk of insanity if they touched themselves. They used to sell little spiked rings for boys to wear so they would stab them if they got an erection. And did the average man even know how to perform oral sex on a woman until like 20 years ago? If you want to get graphic, please remember that you don't have to go back that far to find a country that doesn't believe in regular bathing or use of toilet paper. Any horny time traveler would be in for a hell of a shock when it came to hygiene. Oh, and until the 1950s, every third bed was infested with bed bugs. Why do you know all this? Why don't you know all this? This is the fundamental context of your life. I mean, you don't even have to get into the big picture stuff like expectancy, infant mortality, literacy, civil rights, way fewer people dying in dangerous jobs. I could spend the next week just listing all the little everyday improvements we don't even think about. If pleasure was a thing that could be measured, the available pleasure to the average person was over all of history was basically a flat line on a graph that then explodes upward right before you and I were born. In terms of timing, we're fucking lottery winners. Only we know the pleasure of a climate-controlled room, a daily hot shower, of cheap and delicious food and drink, of comfortable shoes, and a dazzling ocean of entertainment so vast that we get stressed out trying to keep up. Like music. Music is magic. It heals the soul, and our access to it is infinitely greater than it ever was before. And literature. The most beautiful works of the most incredible minds are out there to be read on demand at almost no cost. And then there's all the little conveniences we instantly took for granted. The ability to read a review of a product that you're buying only goes back to Amazon. Before that, for all of history, you were just shopping blind. And think about Wikipedia. The guy who invented that deserves a Nobel Prize. It's one of the great inventions in history. And the fact that it's free to use is insane. They didn't even have that in Star Trek. That's great. When I get back to my phone, I'll go to Wikipedia and read about how fascists are taking over every government in the Western world. Yes, exactly. And that's happening because all of those extremists are selling the same blatant lie. The world is falling apart, and we have to get back what they took from us. At that point, it's always just a matter of deciding which vulnerable group to pin the blame on. And it works because their followers are also living in the black box of doom, where screens tell them everything outside their front door is a chaotic hell world. People become bitter monsters because the box tells them that's the only defense against a world gone mad. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like I've woken up in a world where everyone not only believes the earth is flat, but they're really, really angry about it. And they reject any evidence to the contrary because they prefer to be... Oh, god damn it, grunted Abbott. It says these Takis expired a month ago. Shit, I knew they tasted off. There's a line I want to read from a couple pages back. As the Trekkie in the room, everyone was free when it came to Earth. They abolished money. That's true. That is true. It was in a post scarcity existence. Let me see if I can find that bit. This was actually something that Jason Pargin, the author of this book, read for his TikTok channel when he was promoting the work. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Okay, how about this? What do you think the world will look like in the future post-apocalypse? Abbott thought for a moment, as if picturing it. Terrified people scrounging for food and running from bandits. Rampant disease, infrastructure breakdown, all the stuff from the movies, I guess? No internet? I wouldn't think so. No electricity, no running water, no sewage, no hospitals. Probably not. Got it. So what I'm about to say isn't an opinion. It's not a matter of personal philosophy or politics. It is an objective fact that what you're describing is how virtually all humans have lived through all of history. Until, that is, about 30 years ago. Just in the time I've been alive, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 billion people got their first access to clean water and toilets. That's billion with a B. About that same number got electricity in their homes for the first time in their lives. Worldwide, infant mortality has been cut in half, illiteracy has dropped almost as much, suicides are going up here in the US, but worldwide they've dropped by 1/3. Again, that's all just in my lifetime. Basically, every positive category has skyrocketed. Access to communication, paved roads, motorized transportation, international travel, climate control, medicine. Okay, it sounds like you're talking about a bunch of good stuff that happened in China and India and, I don't know, a bunch of poor countries I'll never visit. I'm talking about how your entire lifespan has been spent in a literal reverse apocalypse. I'm talking about billions of people who lived in what you would consider post-apocalyptic conditions have had those conditions remedied, gaining roofs and lights and safety. A human's chances of dying from famine or natural disasters are as low as they've ever been, ever, in the history of the species. It's been nothing short of a worldwide miracle that makes everything Jesus supposedly did in the Bible look like party tricks. And people like you and me and others in our demographic describe that state of affairs as the world being on fire. I think that's a bizarre mass delusion, and that there's a very specific reason for it. We've been trained to cling to a miserable view of the world to the point that we think that not seeing the world as a miserable makes us bad people. When I spent those months doing hallucinogens, I didn't suddenly see the beauty and harmony of nature. I saw that humans everywhere were working really hard to make life better for other humans, and that almost none of us appreciate it. I'm not crediting this miracle to capitalism or socialism or any other kind of ism, but to the fact that it's what humans do, because humans are amazing, and it's all invisible to us because the progress occurs behind those dark walls of cynicism, outside the black box of doom. That's nice. And again, nothing you said means anything considering the world's scientists have agreed that climate change will wipe out civilization. If we don't fix it, yeah. Climate change is a huge deal. It's terrifying. And also, it is objectively true that if we do fix it, the media will only report it as bad news. All the headlines will be about the oil and coal workers who have lost their jobs, birds dying to windmills. They'll only focus on the negative side effects. And don't tell me we never clean up our messes. There used to be oil slicks on our rivers that would literally catch fire. Sulfur dioxide used to choke the air. When's the last time you've heard about acid rain? Or the hole in the ozone layer? Go read about how previous generations all had lead poisoning, or how food contamination used to be a nightmare. I'm not saying everything will be fine. I can't predict the future. I'm saying that it is a 100% certifiable, guaranteed fact that it can be fine. But people like us have decided that we're never allowed to even acknowledge the possibility. Or maybe it's hard for people to care about toilets in India when another maniac is shooting up a school every week. You think that happens every week? I bet you have a whole bunch of stats to dump on me about that too. I'm sure the parents of those dead kids would love to hear them. And there's the anger. People hate it when you threaten their nihilism. That's the black box, drawing you back in. Can't you see that it wants you to be afraid to do anything but cower in front of your screens? It only has one trick, one card to play, which is this idea that bad news is the only news you can trust. I'm telling you, if you just allow yourself to step outside of it, you'll see it for what it is. A prison where the walls are made of nightmares. Only in the original series, and Next Gen and Beyond, money was reintroduced because the show writers felt the original premise was too unbelievable and communistic. Yes and no, they did introduce the concept of money into Next Gen and beyond, but still gold-pressed latinum was how the universe ran outside of Earth, and Earth had still clung to not using money. And even the gold was worthless. I mean, I feel like in a world where you have replicators that can create food, money would, in fact, food and clothing, and pretty much anything else you could want, and holodecks, where you could fuck anyone you want. Let's be honest. I think money would stop losing, or would stop losing value, would stop having value entirely. Ah, man. Anyway. But yeah, I wanted to go over Ether's definition of the black box, but also they are transporting a literal box that is black and has something that is very likely to be radioactive in it. Let me see. Next part is Hunter. Marvin Heemeyer. Oh, this is Key talking. Marvin Heemeyer was a business owner in Colorado, said Key, who Hunter was now pretty sure had started drinking even before she'd left the airport. He believed he'd been screwed over in a local zoning dispute. It had to do with a concrete plant that was going to block the entrance to his muffler shop. In response to all this, he spent a year and a half welding 9 tons of armor to a bulldozer. Oh, the Killdozer guy. Yeah, I heard about that. I kind of like his style. Yes, the Killdozer guy. He dedicated his whole life to turning the vehicle into a tank, including gun ports to fire in every direction. He created a list of targets and welded himself into the cockpit. There was literally no exit. It was a suicide mission from the start. Then, well, he went on a rampage. For 2 hours, he tore ass around town, flattening the businesses and homes of everyone who'd ever wronged him, destroying 13 buildings in the process. SWAT teams riddled the vehicle with bullets. Heemeyer just laughed it off. At one point, they supposedly considered calling in the National Guard to take out the Killdozer with an attack helicopter. He eventually got stuck in the basement of one of his targets and had no means to extract himself. There was a gunshot from inside, and that was that. Heemeyer had shot himself in the head after having, in his mind, resolved his zoning dispute. Well, I have this theory that we have been quietly building a society full of Heemeyers, seemingly normal people with middle-class lives and brains full of retribution fantasies. Supposedly mature adults with no sense of scale or proportionality. Hunter had no problem believing this, as he had, in fact, driven in LA traffic before. Also, his brief time sitting next to this woman had convinced him that she had surely been involved in or caused at least 3 divorces. Okay, he said. Let's say that's Sokolov's mindset. Isn't it possible that Abbott has no idea what's going on? I get that every dad says that, but it is extremely hard for me to believe he'd drop everything to go on this suicide mission, and it's extremely easy for me to believe that a girl offered him a cash job and they let his dick make the call. Oh, absolutely, said Key. It's a common tactic. A conspirator can't leak details of the mission if they don't have them. A North Korean dissident was assassinated by 2 girls who thought they were doing a YouTube prank. Strangers offered them cash to rub goop on a stranger's face. The substance turned out to be a nerve agent. Well, now, hold on. Doesn't that mean it's possible this green sunglasses girl also doesn't know? Who can say? Maybe she was just offered a pile of cash to transport a sealed container, and she recruited the first driver she could find. Maybe this rich psychopath pulling the strings is the only true villain, and everybody else is just doing a job. I mean, why else would they feel safe dropping by a goddamn Walgreens in the middle of their apocalyptic suicide mission? Then they'd have no reason to resist if they got pulled over, right? Could it be that easy? They get to Nashville, the cops jump out of the bushes, the feds seize the bomb, an investigation clears Abbott because not even his handler knew what was going on. It's not a crime to accept cash to drive someone. It's still a free country, if only in certain specific places, times, and circumstances. The problem is that if Sokolov trusted the shipment to a pair of outsiders, it means that he'd be even more trigger-happy with a remote detonation. If he gets wind that the navigator has been stopped, he'd have every motivation to grab whatever burner phone is connected to the trigger and hit send. Get rid of the evidence and the 2 key witnesses in one shot. Mac also quoted Picard's rationale too. I'm not sure exactly what point I said. I don't know Star Trek all that well. I've seen several episodes. I never got to the point where I was watching like full seasons, but I always enjoyed every episode that I saw. I just, for whatever reason, I never got into it that much. But I recognize it as an excellent show. At some point, I probably ought to go through the replicators. He said that too. Yep. Also, I exist in a sort of area of nerddom where I can appreciate both Star Wars and Star Trek, where it's never really been a conflict for me. It's like one is more action fantasy and one is more an envisioning of actual sci-fi. Whereas, like, I grew up with the idea that, like, it's always a conflict between the fans of the two. The Star Wars nerds over here and the Star Trek nerds over here, and there's no crisscross. But that's not true. There's a lot of crisscross. You've diverged more towards Trek, and that's fair. Like I said, it's a really good show. I never got into watching it, and at some point I probably ought to. I ought to go back and watch, especially like the Star Trek Generation stuff. It's my understanding that's where it like hit its peak, but let me get a sip of my water. This is not water. It's root beer. Chapter 18. Zeke. So your friend is going to rob the Walgreens? Asked a linebacker woman named Rhonda, aka Beast Infection. Have you seen those videos from San Francisco or Portland or somewhere? Flash mobs just coming in and load up carts and walk right out without paying? It's like a crime wave. No, said Zeke, just forget it. Several large, noisy women had packed themselves into Zeke's apartment, all members of his sister's roller derby team. Their Saturday evening match had just ended, and their post-game ritual was to gather there, have an enormous meal, and then go out and get drunk to celebrate their most recent loss. He was waiting for them to leave because their brassy conversation always made it impossible to concentrate on literally anything. In this case, doing hot pink touch-up paint around the baseboards of the apartment. At some point, his sister had started talking about the situation with Abbott, and as was her habit, she told the story in such a way that made the whole thing sound like juicy gossip. No, said Cammy, whose skater name was Cam Horror. They think they're going to be at the Walgreens, but they'll have a bomb with them, like a big one, bigger than the one from Christmas 2020. Remember that? They're going to blow up the Walgreens? Asked another girl, who went by Launch Lady. Why? Did it have something to do with the butterflaps swatting that little girl a while back? No, said Zeke, from his prone painting position. They're going to try to blow up Washington, D.C., but they're stopping at Walgreens, or at least they were planning to, tomorrow morning, apparently. And there'll be a SWAT team waiting for them, promised Cammy, and the two probably won't be taken alive. Oh my god, said another of the girls. Terror catapult. Why haven't I heard about this? Was Butterflaps the one with the birthmark on her head? It's all over the internet, replied Cammy, who was tracking a pizza delivery on her phone. And how does Zeke know the guy? Asked Beast. They're internet friends. He's actually a streamer. He goes by... What is it? Abaddon, said Zeke. Abaddon. It's from the Bible, I think. Yet another woman, Fountains of Pain, said... Is this him? She held up her phone. He made a video praising Harvey Weinstein? What? No, ignore that. He got into an argument with some YouTube feminist. It was stupid. It's the first thing that comes up when you search that name. It says he's an incel and likes Hitler. He's not. And no, I don't even know what they're talking about. Hitler? Ignore all that. It's all taken out of context. This is crazy, gasped Launch Lady. They're saying here that Butterflaps is an undercover Russian? They found an old picture of her with Putin when she was little, and she's an alien? And they're in a cult? Nobody knows what her deal is. I just know that she abducted Abbott, and he's probably going to die when they get there, and nobody cares. But he's, like, an incel terrorist or something? He helped us out last year, said Cammy. Remember when the van broke down? The engine blew up and it was going to be like $5,000 to fix? Abaddon and his fans did a fundraiser and they paid for the whole thing. They've never even met us and they just stepped in because they knew we were having a rough time. It saved our asses. That's cool, said Beast. Oh, this girl made the video criticizing Abbott is a real bitch. It came out a while back that she was bullying her staff. Or I think that was her. Have you told the police all about all this? The police are the ones who are going to shoot him, said Zeke. You know how the cops are. They don't care. Their goal is to make sure neither of them can set off the bomb. They probably won't even give a warning. They'll just jump out and pump $500 of bullets into the car. Zeke wants to get Abbott away from her before that happens, added Cammy, before looking out the door and saying, ugh, the pizza driver missed our turn every time. Could you get a warning to him somehow? Asked Terror, that the cops are waiting to ambush him? Even if I could, replied Zeke, wiping a pink drip from the baseboard. If it causes them to bypass the city and continue on their terrorism mission, it's not like that's better. I'd go to jail for aiding and abetting the attack. I want to get Abbott out of the car so the cops will only shoot the girl. So we have to somehow get to him in advance, but not too in advance. How would that work? Well, said Beast, you'd have to do it in a way that the girl doesn't get spooked and set off the bomb. She took a hit of a vape that stank like bubble gum. That's right, added Terror. You'd need to stop the vehicle somehow on the approach, like block the street or something, in a way that makes them both get out. Then we pull up alongside, grab your friend, and drive away. Then maybe the cops could come in while the vehicle is stopped. Done. Disaster averted. But, said Beast, we'd have to know the exact route they'd take. Zeke was absolutely baffled as to the direction the conversation had taken. Who's we in this scenario? Ignoring him, Terror said, somebody pull out a map. Abbott and GSG are not in Nashville to pick up a prescription. Posted to r/DC terror attack by Fed Throwaway 66974. As others have pointed out, it obviously makes no sense for Abbott to resurface and fill his anxiety meds in the middle of a worldwide manhunt. The FBI believes the prescription he is picking up is actually code for 5 kilos of fentanyl. The drug will be added to the radioactive material that is lining the armored case so that, upon detonation, it would also contaminate the shrapnel ejected from the device. Fentanyl in this pure form can trigger an overdose through skin contact alone, so the goal would be to get granules into the victim's open wounds and to generally contaminate every surface in the vicinity. This would poison first responders and emergency room personnel, creating a wave of additional patients and incapacitating medics, just when they are most desperately needed, which of course will only compound the chaos already caused by the radioactive material. This type of dirty bomb is known as a Pandora's box, a device containing as many different contaminants as possible to create mass disruption of rescue and recovery efforts. There is talk I gotta interrupt real quick. The book goes back and forth between what's happening with the characters and how people are responding online. And I love this reaction because everyone's going like they're trying to make this nuclear bomb dirtier than it already is, and I'm going like, wouldn't anything they add to it be incinerated by the nuclear bomb? There's talk internally that the terror cell may also have acquired some quantity of the nerve agent sarin, as well as a weaponized form of the group A streptococcus bacteria, which, if introduced under the skin via a puncture wound, becomes necrotizing fasciitis, aka the flesh-eating bacteria. This is so far unconcerned. Who's gonna get a bit of shrapnel from the bomb that is nuclear, that's gonna, vaporize everything that would be anywhere near. Anyway. Also, this is not a suicide attack. Karen Wozniak and Abbott Coburn both have substantial streaming audiences, and their intention is to operate the vehicle via remote and stream every step of the attack from safe location. The goal is to create such a sheer volume of traumatic video across so many social media accounts that it'll be unavoidable, a shock that ripples through the population in waves, totally dominating all social traffic and headlines. In addition to a government left in chaos due to decimation of the court, imagine dozens of children suffering fentanyl overdoses and having their flesh eaten by bacteria and radiation. The body horror streamed for audiences in real time. Imagine every viewer terrified that their town is next, that any one of their neighbors could be recruited for a similar attack. I've also received some shocking intel that I've not yet been able to confirm, so I'm going to hold off on sharing it for now. Needless to say, if it is true, it is a bombshell that could change how we think about all of this. To be sure to follow this account for updates. Trying to do the internet thing. Next up, Butterhead Lettuce. Key. Now that you're here, said Key as they waited in B&A's baggage claim for the machine to ship their luggage, what's your plan? Well, said Hunter, considering there is zero chance of me getting even 1 minute of sleep tonight, I intend to rent a car and pass by every single hotel in the Nashville area to see if one of them has a big white Navigator parked there. If so, I'll find his room and brace myself for the dumbest conversation of my life. Do you have any idea how many hotels are in Nashville? Nope. Around 350. Some have valet parking with the lots scattered miles away. You'd be lucky to hit 10 of them before morning. Then I'll try to get into his head and guess which one he'd pick, unless you've got a better idea. I mean, what's your plan? Key sighed, having dreaded this very question. I have friends who feed me inside information, she began, sometimes when they feel like it. If JTTF is setting up to collar Abbott and the girl, I'll sit back and watch it go down and feel some closure when the bomb squad examines the box and finds that it's full of, well, whatever they find. But if it turns out they have no such plan, then I'll see if I can do something myself. Hunter let that sit for a moment, then asked, like what? I have no powers of arrest, but as a citizen, there is nothing stopping me from engaging the couple in a conversation, should I happen to run into them. And if, in the middle of that conversation, the girl should reach for a gun, well, I'll do what any armed citizen should do in that circumstance. She saw the question on Hunter's face and said, I don't travel without the Glock. After a chilly pause, Hunter said, and if it's my son that reaches for a weapon, it sounds like he's not the type. He's the type to panic. Whether it's you or some FBI agent in a blue windbreaker, he's not going to take the confrontation well. And if that agent, be it you or someone else, thinks there's a bomb in the back of that could irradiate several city blocks, they may start shooting the second Abbott makes a move toward anything that looks like a detonator, or toward any pocket that could hold such a device. He could get shot reaching for his asthma inhaler. So you're saying that you'd prefer it be you who confronts him before that happens? Yes, I'd like it to be us, he said casually, cementing a partnership with 2 little letters. Me because I'm his dad, and you because you want the credit for the bust, not the FBI or the joint terrorism whatever. I don't care about that. Several $100s spent on a plane ticket tells me otherwise, and I'm guessing your friend inside the bureau knows that, which is why they're not telling you anything, and why I bet you didn't tell them you were taking this trip. She sighed. I booked a rental car in advance. Did you? No. Well, there's no need for us both to pay for one. We'll just use mine. Yeah, he said casually. That makes sense. Ether. Do we risk a hotel? She asked through a yawn. We're on the cusp of Nashville. They probably got some good ones. Abbott shook his head. I'd just spend all night worrying that cops or fans or vigilantes would be blocking the doors come morning. So, you're saying that regardless of the quality of the bed, your worries would ruin the experience? Are you going to try to stretch that into a metaphor for my whole life? That I'm physically comfortable but my brain won't let me enjoy it? Well, it's not a metaphor, it's literally what's happening, right? He scoffed and gave an ugly smirk that made Ether think she'd maybe crossed a line. She found herself holding her breath. Hang on a sec. One of my cats has been having diarrhea and hasn't been covering his poop, and I think he might have just gone. Let me go see if I need to cover something up for him. I'll be right back. Hello, Zoe. How are you? I smell food. Did you food? There you go. It's yours. clear. Ugh, it smells because it probably just happened, but they covered it up, so it won't smell for super long. But bleh. Let me see. She found her... Okay. He scoffed and gave an ugly smirk that made Ether think she'd maybe crossed a line. She found herself holding her breath. You think you have it all figured out, he said, sounding more exhausted than anything. But the way humans work, the current world is a baseline. That's what we know. When our mood is based on whether we think that's going to get better or worse. So, as a white woman, yeah, you've been on this winning streak that promises to continue, but all I hear is how my life needs to get worse. Everything is about how we straight white men have it too good for too long, that we need to step back from the good jobs to make room, that we should consume less for the good of the planet, but only us. And before you tell me this is some media narrative, here's my individual actual reality. I don't own a home or a car. I have no trust fund. I don't have a degree or any skills society deems useful. I'm not strong enough for construction. You can ask my dad. I tried to learn to code and couldn't wrap my mind around it. Everything else is either bottom of the barrel stuff, janitors and plumbers or women's work, customer service, nursing. That's my reality, and even your 4 wads of cash won't save me from that. Okay. But are you honestly worried you'll wind up on the streets? You're a smart guy, able-bodied. The odds are overwhelming that you'll spend the rest of your life sleeping in warm beds and eating good meals, with access to a doctor if you break your leg. So what are you really worried about? I don't think it's fear of poverty. It's fear of humiliation, that other people will think you're a loser, because objectively, you'd still be living better than any royalty from the past. Well, that's just a ridiculous thing to say. Is it? Those palaces got so cold in the winter that their drinks froze in mid-meal. If an ancient king got an infection, some quack would stick a leech on it, and then they'd hack off the limb without anesthetic. But what would he have that you don't is respect. They hit a pothole, and the box jostled behind them. Abbott shot a nervous look back at it, and Ether had caught herself doing the same. She clicked on the dome light and studied the map. Take this next turn. I think there's a state park we can stay in, unless you want to get a hotel in the city. Last chance. No, I mean, if this thing is a homemade nuke, it's probably wise to keep it away from people as much as possible. You know, just in case the cynics of the world happen to be right about this one thing. They parked in a pitch-black wooded area. Abbott retrieved a sleeping mask from his bag after forcing Ether to promise not to laugh. This turned out to be quite a challenge. The mask was a camouflage pattern, but soon she had closed her eyes and begun her sleep anywhere technique, which involved slowly relaxing all the muscles in her body, beginning with her face. This was supposed to be accompanied by a mantra of don't think, don't think, don't think, but she instead found herself repeating another phrase over and over. The box cannot be a bomb. The box cannot be a bomb. The box cannot be a bomb. Again and again, until the sounds became nonsense. She ransacked her memories for evidence to the contrary. Phil Green had definitely known how to design and build. He cobbled together his own solar hot water heater, his own geothermal HVAC system. He knew where to get parts, prided himself on circumventing regulations at every step. My water gets hot enough to boil your fingers like hot dogs, he'd boast, and the shower's got enough pressure to scour off your tattoos. But also, she'd once seen him stand stone calm in the face of a meth head screaming racial slurs, Phil grinning and saying, Sonny, you don't come out of the womb knowing those ugly words, and cursed be the man who taught them to you, for he was doing the devil's work, and it's that same serpent that wants you and I to fight right now. There was rage in him. Justified rage. Phil had not seen 1 minute of societal or karmic justice in his time on Earth, but she never saw him take it out on a living thing. Never. And still, she could feel the box behind her, wrapped in foil, that did nothing to block the dark energy that seemed to radiate from it, the box itself now planting doubts in her mind. I want to ask you something, said Abbott, nearly causing her to jump. His tone implied it was an opening for an argument, and she was so so tired. What she learned about Abbott was that he was the most comfortable in conflict, mainly because that was the only time he knew what to say. Maybe arguing was the sound of his childhood, and it soothed him. Okay, she muttered. When we first met, you asked me how you smelled, and I gave you an honest answer, and you said that's what you value about people like us. Sure, I remember. So be honest with me now. Is there seriously... I heard a meow. Is there seriously anything I could do to make myself attractive to women, aside from suddenly winning the lottery? And yes, I know that me just asking that question makes me unattractive. That little paradox of if you have to ask, you don't deserve to know is what makes us blow our brains out. Ether took a moment to carefully arrange the words before they left her mouth. Scientifically, she began, humans tend to match their own attractiveness level. So usually when guys ask this question, it turns out they actually have encountered willing girls, but thought they were repulsive. If you're not out there seeing that what kind of women you actually match with, your view of attractiveness is shaped by movies, where they cast an actor in the top 1% of attractiveness as the loser's girl next door love interest. So you think, well, I'm a loser, so I should get one of those. But she's a Hollywood 4 and a real life 9. When you see someone who is actually at your attractiveness level in real life, you're disgusted by your own reflection. If you're just looking to hook up, start by lowering your standards. See, you accuse me of having this confrontational mindset, but anytime guys ask questions like this, it's always framed as the most cynical way possible. I'm not just looking to hook up. Okay, remember you asked for honesty. I know. Are you sure? A pause. Yeah, I guess. Girls know your type. If a guy's last girlfriend was a screen, it means he's used to all the pleasure flowing one direction. If we were in a relationship, I just picture you staring at screens all day until you're in the mood to have sex, at which point you'd expect me to be right there to provide it, and then you'd go back to your screens. Girls call this porn brain. The guy expecting us to always be on standby, groomed and waxed while he barely remembers to brush his teeth. I think you'd love doing the occasional nice, showy favor for me, but only on your terms, when you felt like it. I think you would whine like a little boy if I told you I wanted to go hiking, or boating, or to visit my mother in San Bernardino. I think you'd zone out anytime I told you about my day, and feel insulted if I asked you to take a shower. No real woman can give you the frictionless relationship of a media-augmented jerk-off fantasy. It sounds like you're saying I have to become a totally different person. Somebody who likes to go out and do things. Somebody who's extroverted and fun to be around. Why not? You're miserable as who you are now. I swear if the Black Box of Doom had a slogan etched across its door, it would be, we hate ourselves and we'll kill anyone who asks us to change. Who told you that no partner who demands compromise is worth it? Can't you see the conclusion they're leading you to? Unless I somehow get this perfect, effortless relationship, I'm better off alone, with my screens. The box doesn't train you to do anything, but remain in the box. She closed her eyes and decided she'd sleep through any further questions. One more day was her final thought. One more day and it's done. That is BS. What's BS, Codex? I was reading. I don't know exactly when that popped up. And I felt something on my leg. Oh, my chair. Hey, buddy. Hey, Zeus. Sorry, my chair shifts every time I move my weight. How you doing, handsome? Hello. What you good boy? Love you. Love you. Sweet guy. Yeah. I know it's warm today. It got up to 80. It got up to 80. It was fucking hot. And it's not even summer yet. We're not in the triple digits yet, buddy. Sorry. Speaking of, I'm gonna crack my window a little bit. It's still right here. Oh. And until we have mosquitoes, I'm gonna enjoy having my window open from time to time. Oh, why can't I get that open? Hang on. It was a while ago, way past where it was. Before the cat leavings? Oh, okay. I'm just gonna take a second to pull my curtain back. The bar has like a little bump on it. There we go. I have to be at the right angle, and I can't really get it from in the chair. Hey, handsome. Already in the window, huh? Fucking downside of a pop is on. It shifts every time I move. Also, this book is a work of fiction, and while I think Jason Pargin draws a lot of this from stuff that he's researched, it is a work of fiction, so remember to take everything with a grain of salt. Okay, Zeke. The cops are going to come by if we just keep sitting here, said Zeke to the 3 very drunk women around his van. They're going to think we're running a prostitution ring out of the Walgreens parking lot. They should thank us, barked Cammy before taking a pull from a can of wine. We're doing their jobs for them. Some wine flew out of her mouth when she said that. Zeke checked the time on his phone. It was 2 a.m, maybe 6 hours until showtime. This van does kind of look like we're peddling weird sex stuff, said Beast Infection, who was drinking from a cardboard box of wine she'd set atop said van. They'll make it easy for the cops to track us if we have to make a getaway afterwards. Zeke was talking to them from behind the wheel, acting as the designated driver, as he generally had to avoid alcohol due to his various medications. Why would we need to make a getaway? We're not going to be committing a crime. We'll be saving somebody from a kidnapping. What if his lady gets violent and we have to beat her down? Asked Terror, the only other member of the roller derby team who hadn't abandoned them for a bar or a bed. It could happen, you know. Zeke didn't know exactly what strain she'd been smoking, but she smelled like a skunk that had been set on fire. No, he shouted. Whatever we do, it can't be violent. It can't be criminal. What are you worried about? You're in a wheelchair. They don't put disabled people in jail. It's against the law. There was a Bond villain like that. They had to just keep letting him go. He's right, said Cammy. We need to wrap this up. Look, if they're coming off the interstate, we know exactly how to get onto this street. The off-ramp is about 2 miles in that direction by the school. It's 1 lane. You block that, you stop them. And we have to do it at the last second, after they've exited, before they merge. Again, said Zeke, exasperated. The problem is, we'd somehow have to know the exact moment they're coming down the ramp. How do we do that? If we knew how to track the vehicle, we'd just go find them now. Somebody will spot them, said Beast. The whole internet is watching, and the internet sees all. Key. You seriously don't remember the Nashville truck bombing? Said Key in disbelief. In 2020? Christmas Day? I don't know. I think I remember hearing something about it. She and Hunter were watching the Walgreens parking lot from inside. From inside a Waffle House across the street, the only eating establishment they could find still open at that hour. At the moment, there was a single vehicle parked in the pharmacy's lot, a colorful van surrounded by a few highly animated women. The Walgreens had turned out to be nestled among several hotels, and Hunter had gotten his hopes up that Abbott had decided to just stay at one of those, maybe planning to wake up and hit the pharmacy before jumping on the interstate to Armageddon. But a check of their lots had revealed a dozen white SUVs, none the one they were looking for. They were both starving by that point, and so had decided to grab some night breakfast and down as much coffee as the restaurant would allow before the staff ejected them from the establishment. The scene was something out of a movie, said Key. This RV pulls up to a spot downtown and starts playing a computerized voice warning everyone to evacuate the area. Then it announces a bomb is about to go off and starts a countdown while playing Downtown by Petula Clark. The cops evacuate everybody according to the bomber's instructions, and at 6:30 in the morning, boom! It collapsed one building, wrecked 60 others, and took down an AT&T switching station that knocked out communications across several states. A lot of people lost 911 service. One airport lost air traffic control. But there was only the one fatality, the bomber, and I think there's a really specific reason why you haven't heard more about it. What's that? There was nothing to argue about. The bomber had no politics. It was just an old guy who believed aliens had secretly invaded Earth in 2011. If he'd been an Islamic extremist, you'd have had the president yelling about a new Muslim travel ban. If he'd been a Nazi, you'd have had the other side yelling about new hate speech laws and a domestic terror crackdown. All of the yelling would have created online engagement and TV ratings and ad revenue, but because the bomber didn't trigger any particular raw nerve, there was no media money to be made, so we all just shrugged and moved on. I'm starting to sense you're something of a cynic, said Hunter, as Key watched the Walgreens lot, imagining morning light reflecting off fresh blood and shell casings. She had drunk too much before the flight, and during the flight, and after the flight, and now she could feel herself getting dull and sleepy, which was triggering her anxiety. Excuse me. Because she knew she had to stay sharp for what could be the biggest day of her life, and possibly the last. So now she was scorching her digestive tract with coffee and rehearsing the scenario in her head, struggling mightily to focus. Her stomach was simultaneously telling her she needed to eat and vomit, and also she was 99.7% sure that the incel terrorist kid's dad would fuck her if she offered. What do you think those people are doing over there? Hunter directed his attention over to the Walgreens lot. Key counted 3 women and 1 guy who stayed behind the wheel of the van they'd arrived in. The van had a custom paint job on the side depicting a cartoon woman with large breasts and rabbit ears. Based on my previous visits to Nashville, he said, I'd guess it's a bachelorette party. Maybe the van is a party bus? So, is this what you did at the FBI? Domestic terrorism? She paused to dump sugar in her coffee, knowing it was no longer hot enough to dissolve it. Sometimes she liked to have a little puddle of granules at the end. It was like the coffee's dessert. Let's put it this way. There was an apartment building in the old Soviet Union, now Ukraine. In the 1980s, everyone who lived in a particular apartment got sick and died. Leukemia. Nobody could figure out why. Even weirder, the first to die usually slept in a specific room against a particular wall. Well, after almost a decade of this, somebody finally investigated. It turned out that, years earlier, a guy working in a quarry had lost his radiation level gauge. That's a rock measuring gadget with a tiny little capsule of cesium-137 inside. The tool got ground up with the gravel, which got turned into concrete, which got turned into the apartment building. That little capsule of radioactive material embedded in the wall of that apartment killed at least 4 people and delivered heaping doses of radiation to 17 more. Silent and invisible. So is that what you did? Track radioactive material? Yeah, but I like that story as a metaphor. I track radioactive ideas, virulent narratives that develop in insular little subcultures until they burst out onto the scene. One random guy posts a hoax to 4chan in 2017 under the pseudonym Q. 3 years later, weirdos wearing Q t-shirts are storming the Capitol building. Did you hear about Facebook's role in the genocide in Ethiopia and Myanmar? I don't think I heard about those genocides at all. Well, the company had teams devoted to it, as in, they are clearly trying to organize an ethnic cleansing on our website. What do? They have war rooms set up to discuss which countries are at risk of the same. The USA is on that list. So, did you retire to pursue another career? Write books? Good God, she thought, the man is definitely flirting with me. No, she said into her coffee. My only plan was to get away. If I had to go punch in at that office one more time with those people, I think I'd have started looking into how to make a truck bomb myself. Jesus, did she just say that out loud? Come on, said Hunter. You have to have a purpose. You're still young. People live forever these days. I've got a grandpa who's still alive. He's 100. He imagined living to 100 and almost passed out. Is it possible those people have their anime sex fan? Have some of the internet weirdos who've been following this case scoping out the scene? They wouldn't be that stupid, would they? To get in proximity of a toxic car bomb just for fun? I mean, I guess they could say we're doing the same. At least I have training. There was a suspicious pause, and Hunter said, Hey, I want to make something clear. Whatever happens a few hours from now, I want you to know I fully intend to survive it. Okay. I'm glad to hear that. because I've continually asked what exactly you want out of this. A rejuvenated career, a medal, just to have done a good deed, and it really kind of seems like you have no thoughts that extend into the future. That whether or not you're conscious of it, that you, he trailed off like he had previewed the rest of that sentence in his head and decided to cancel it. I what? That you wouldn't mind if you didn't survive this. That if the act of stopping this ended up with you dead on the pavement in a shootout or explosion, your name living on in all the news stories and true crime... Did I say stories? The news stories and true crime podcasts to come, with all your old colleagues finally realizing how awesome you were, and that you'd be pretty okay with that. Key sipped the lukewarm, sugary remnants of her coffee and said, "If that's so, that's nobody's business but my own." That's the end of day 3. And that is where I'll leave it off, because this book is still new. If you enjoyed that, I highly recommend picking up... Hi, Zeus. He's trying to eat my headphone wire. Yeah, I'd highly recommend picking up I keep giving it a different word. I'm starting, I'm beginning, I am initiating. I'm starting to worry about this black box of doom. I can never say the title right. But it's by Jason Pargin, one of my favorite authors. It's really good. It's really been enjoyable. I'm just a slow reader. Anyway. That's going to be it for me tonight. It's about 12:30. Let's find somebody to raid real quick. It is a name Mac doesn't know what it is, but if you like it, get it. Exactly. Let me pull up my Twitch app real quick, and we'll see who's on. Bum, 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 bum. Following. Anybody that I know that could use a little bump. Oh. I haven't rated Albany Parlor in a long time. Let's drop in on them. Albany's a spooter. Looks like they're hanging out with some friends. What are they doing right now? Schedule. They're doing schedule. Let's drop in and see what that is. /raid Albany Parlor. Make sure there's no VT or anything, right? Nope. Okay. Dropping in on the spooter friend. All right, everybody. I may or may not be back tomorrow. I'm planning on running down to a state park and hiking for a while. So if I don't collapse from exhaustion, I'll do a stream. And if I'm back super late, then I may not do a stream. But if I'm back with time and I have the energy, I'll come in and do something. I don't know what. It might be a little more Monster Hunter. It could be a little more reading. Who knows? I've got a couple other books we could pick up. I don't want to finish that one on stream. I want people to support my favorite authors. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you, Codex, for hanging out with me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And if I do see you tomorrow, then I hope you have a good day despite me. But I'm gonna go touch some grass tomorrow after a long drive. So let me see. I'm gonna put this on the ending stream. There we go. Thanks again, everybody, and I will see you the next time you dial in for Mac. And yeah. Show Spooder lots of love. I don't have oh. Shit, nah, it's too late to do a raid message. Don't worry about it. Have a good night, everybody. 3, 2, 1, night-night! And stop streaming.